The FDA is considering a new plan to make COVID vaccines a lot more like your annual flu shot as the world continues to navigate the evolving landscape of the COVID-19 pandemic. Public health officials and regulatory agencies are constantly seeking ways to improve vaccine strategies to keep up with the virus's changing nature. Recently, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has signaled that it is considering a major shift in how COVID-19 vaccines are developed, approved, and administered, a move that could make them more like the familiar annual flu shot. Why change the COVID vaccine strategy? Since the rollout of the first COVID-19 vaccines in late 2020, the approach to vaccination has been extraordinary in speed and scale. Initial vaccine regimens were based on the original strain of the virus, followed by booster shots targeting emerging variants such as Delta and Omicron. This approach, while effective, has proven challenging both logistically and in terms of public communication. Now, with COVID-19 becoming endemic, meaning the virus is here to stay, but hopefully in a less disruptive form, experts believe it makes sense to transition to a more routine vaccination schedule. The goal is to integrate COVID shots into regular healthcare, much like the seasonal influenza vaccine, which is updated yearly to match circulating strains and administered before flu season begins. What is the FDA proposing? According to recent reports and FDA statements, the agency is exploring a framework that would allow vaccine makers to update their COVID vaccines annually without having to conduct lengthy and expensive clinical trials every time. Instead, the process would be more streamlined, focusing on how well the vaccine matches current circulating strains, similar to how flu vaccines are developed. The current process requires extensive trials for new COVID vaccine formulations, which can delay availability and complicate production. By contrast, flu vaccines are updated annually based on surveillance data about which flu strains are most prevalent worldwide. And these updates are approved through a well-established regulatory pathway that does not require full-scale clinical trials each year. The FDA's plan would also likely set specific criteria for vaccine manufacturers regarding strain selection, efficacy benchmarks, and safety monitoring, ensuring updated COVID vaccines remain safe and effective while speeding up their deployment. Benefits of an annual COVID shot approach: simplified public messaging, public confusion over the need for multiple boosters, changing vaccine eligibility, and evolving recommendations has been a significant hurdle during the pandemic. An annual COVID vaccine, given alongside the flu shot, would be easier for healthcare providers to communicate and for patients to understand. Improved vaccine uptake by making COVID vaccination part of the routine healthcare calendar. Similar to flu shots, public acceptance and compliance could improve. People are already accustomed to getting a flu shot each year, especially vulnerable populations such as the elderly and those with underlying conditions. Better preparedness against variants. COVID-19 variants have been the primary driver behind booster campaigns. An annual update mechanism ensures vaccine composition keeps pace with viral evolution, helping maintain strong immunity in the population and reducing severe disease and hospitalizations. Streamlined regulatory review, reducing the burden of clinical trials for each vaccine update can accelerate approval and distribution timelines, ensuring vaccines are available promptly to respond to new variants and waves. Challenges and considerations. Despite the promise of this new approach, several challenges remain. Vaccine durability and effectiveness. COVID vaccines have demonstrated waning immunity over time, leading to the need for boosters. Scientists will need to closely monitor how well annual shots sustain protection, particularly as new variants emerge. Public perception and fatigue. Even annual vaccinations require public buy-in. Vaccine fatigue or reluctance to get repeated shots may hinder uptake, especially among younger, healthier populations. Global coordination. COVID is a global pandemic, and vaccine updates require coordination between international health bodies, manufacturers, and regulatory agencies. Variability in vaccine access and virus spread complicates timing and strain selection. Vaccine technology and delivery. COVID vaccines utilize different technologies: mRNA, viral vector, protein, subunit, and it's unclear whether all platforms will fit into this annual update model equally well. What could the future look like? If the FDA implements this plan, Americans might soon receive a single annual respiratory virus vaccine shot that protects against both COVID-19 and influenza, potentially combined with protection against other viruses like RSV, respiratory virus. Research into combination vaccines is already underway, and the convenience of a single annual shot could be a game changer for public health. Healthcare providers would likely recommend the COVID vaccine seasonally, focusing on high groups but eventually expanding to broader populations. Vaccine manufacturers would monitor global variants and adjust the vaccine formula accordingly, submitting annual updates for rapid FDA review. Expert opinions. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the former chief medical advisor to the U.S. president, has expressed support for integrating COVID vaccination into the annual flu shot model, noting that it reflects the reality of living with a virus that continually mutates. Other infectious disease experts agree that this approach balances the need for ongoing immunity with practical public health management. However, some caution that the virus's unpredictability might require flexibility beyond a fixed annual schedule, especially if new, significantly different variants arise. Conclusion: the FDA's consideration of making COVID vaccines more like the annual flu shot marks an important shift in pandemic management from emergency response to sustainable, long-term control. By adopting a familiar and streamlined approach to vaccine updates and administration, public health officials hope to maintain immunity in the population, reduce severe illness, and ease the burden on healthcare systems. While challenges remain, the transition to an annual COVID vaccine could normalize protection against this once disruptive virus and help society move toward a new equilibrium, one where COVID-19 is managed as a routine part of respiratory disease prevention,